ghost of a dead husband, the promise of a new love, and a fire dance. All of this and more coming right up on Conducting Pills. Hi, I'm Gianmaria Griglio, I'm a conductor and a composer, and welcome to a new episode of Conducting Pills, a series where we take a repertoire piece or a part of it and we analyze it from a conductor's point of view. In this episode, we'll dive into De Falla's La Danza Ritual del Fuego from his ballet Amor Brujo, its beautiful melodies, its phrasing, and of course, some technical tips. As usual, you can jump through different sections of the video by clicking on the links present in the description below. I want to take a second to thank all of you who are supporting me and to remind you that on my Patreon page you can find all the bonus episodes of Conducting Pills, the live sessions, on top of many other patrons' perks. Now, let's begin. In 1914, the famous gypsy flamenco dancer Pastora Imperio expressed to the Falla the desire to expand her repertoire with the gitanerìa, a pantomime of dance and song inspired by gypsy legends. The Falla used a libretto by Gregorio Martínez Sierra. The first performance, which took place in Madrid in 1915, was a complete failure. In 1916, he reworked the piece, making numerous cuts and eliminating the singing part almost entirely. And this new version was much more successful with both critics and audiences. In 1924, De Falla further reworked the piece by transforming El Amor Brujo into a ballet, which is how the piece is mostly known and performed today. Eventually, he wrote a fourth version for solo piano, which became a favorite of many pianists, Arthur Rubinstein just to name one. La Danza Ritual del Fuego, which translates to the ritual dance of fire, is apparently necessary to cast off the ghost of Candela's husband. Candela is the main female character of the ballet. Candela performs the ritual fire dance, causing the ghost to appear. She dances with the ghost, but as they whirl around faster and faster, the ghost is drawn into the fire, vanishing forever. Thanks to its obsessive rhythm and charming melody, it made its way into the symphonic repertoire as a standalone piece. Structure-wise, it's an A1 plus a coda. Now let's look at this closely. The piece starts with little cracklings of fire in the trills of the violas and then the clarinets. The double basses color the sound with their harmonic on E, and so does the first horn with an added closed sound on bar 4. The cellos anticipate the stomping rhythm with a single pizzicato on bar 1 and bar 4. In the following 8 bars, the crackling intensifies, letting out small flames. The cellos place their pizzicato on every downbeat, moving the dynamic from piano to sforzato, underlining the crescendos of the violas and clarinets. These first bars offer you a chance to break the patterns in a very easy but effective way. Use the swells to move outwards and inwards, remaining at waist level because of the orchestration. 2 bars before rehearsal number 24, raise your arm towards the oboe player, connect, and give a clear pulse on the downbeat of 1 before 24. Another set of 8 bars adds more layers to the sound as the fire grows. 2 horns and timpani on the second beat of the bar. The cellos play each beat on a C minor arpeggio and the piano makes its appearance, doubling both lines. We finally get introduced to the first melodic idea, played by a solo oboe. The Falla plays with tonality, hinting towards F minor, but then sticking an A natural at the end of the bar. Notice also the triplets of 16 referencing the Spanish musical tradition, the flair of the flamenco and the flames of the fire once again. There's another very interesting aspect of what we've seen so far, the structure. We have 24 bars of rhythmic introduction before the theme comes in on the pickup bar. The theme has this quality of almost improvisation, and at first hearing it appears to break the structure, moving accents here and there. But if you look at the bass line, it's always obsessively the same, spanning over 16 bars. This overlapping of layers continues in the next phrase, which from 16 is extended to 18 bars. The theme is repeated, played now by the flute and the violins, while the orchestration thickens. The trumpets join in, the timpani have rolls every other bar, the cellos turn from pizzicato to arco. But I want to point out the attention to one detail in particular. The theme has triplets of 16. The right hand of the piano plays quadruplets of 16. The clarinets play triplets of 8 notes on the same pitches. And this layering of rhythms is used to increase the tension and the drama of the music. When the piccolo and oboe join the main line, there's also a natural crescendo created by the orchestration instead of a change in dynamic. Thanks to all of this, when we get to rehearsal number 26, the pianissimo becomes even more effective. It seems like we're going back to the opening bars with the trills of the violas and the clarinets, but after 8 bars, the obsessiveness of the rhythm comes back, more focused. It's not spread out in an arpeggio, but it's pounding every beat with an offbeat response of the right hand in the piano. The second melodic idea bursts in a fortissimo molto marcato of the first violins, doubled by the horns. Notice that it still fits an 8 bars phrase. Repeated in piano by the flutes, this idea makes use of that triplet of 16s we heard earlier, so typical of the flamenco tradition. We find it in the first violin's part as well, closing this phrase. This whole piece has another typically Spanish flavor in the harmony. The minor chord on a lowered second degree resolving on a major chord like an A minor to B major. Now technically we could even see in this a derivative of the Neapolitan sixth chord, but let's not dwell on the influences of different musical streams over the centuries. The rhythm transfers to the first violins and flute, depicting the stomping feet movements once again. Alternating soft and loud dynamics in a twirl of contrasting emotions, the Falla drives us back to the beginning. The trills come back in the violas, enriched this time by an answer on the second beat by the flutes. The rhythm is tightened also by the change in the timpani line. This A1 section is a repetition of the A section, except that the rhythmic line at rehearsal 33 leads into the coda. The dance is getting more and more frantic. The 16 turn into triplets. And land on a succession of upwards and downwards scales. Until only the stomping is left to close the piece. The Falla, who draws copiously and with exquisite knowledge from the historical repertoire of Spanish music, has given us one of the most beautiful pieces with his Amor Brujo, full of melodies and tempo changes. And by the way, I'm going into the technical analysis of La Danza Ritual del Fuego in the bonus episode you will find on Patreon. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the button right below the video and ring the bell so you will get notified every time a new video comes out. You can also show your support on Patreon, and if you're interested in conducting technique, follow my Facebook group. All the links are in the description. Let me know in the comments what you think about this piece and if you have any suggestions for future videos, and I look forward to seeing you next week with a new episode of Conducting Pills when we will go through the first movement of Brahms' 4th Symphony. In the meanwhile, please continue to enjoy music and be well. Ciao. 27. Articulate the music. Short strokes for the staccato parts, circle legato strokes for the slurs. Increase